can you hear me? Let me see if I can pull the chat up here. Where is the chat? Okay, hold on. I have not done this in a while, if you can't tell. Let me see if I can pull up the... Oh, there's the chat. Okay, good. Okay. I was like, where's the chat? That's going to be a problem. All right. Okay. Let me see if I can pull up the chat on this other device too so that I can see better, because that chat is tiny. Tiny. Let me see. I'm going to pull it up down here on my phone so I can see your messages better. Thank you, Nitty. Thank you so much. Okay, so I've been trying to set this up for a little while, and it's been so long since I've done a live stream. I think it's been like 7 months, and I could not remember how to do it. I was trying to mash all these buttons, and it was just not happening. So I finally figured it out. Figured out how to go live. We're here. I was like, I'm late. I'm late for a very important date. Thank you, Brian. Hello, everyone. Thank you, Shane. For those who are still coming in, I'm not texting. I'm reading your chat messages down here. Thank you so much for being here for the 25,000 subscribers celebration. I cannot believe it. It's been a long time coming. And I definitely do not take it for granted. 25,000 might not be a lot to some people, but I do not take it for granted. I appreciate every single one of you so much. So thank you for subscribing. Thank you for being here. Thank you for enjoying my reactions. Really, I really appreciate all the support, and I love watching movies with y'all and talking about movies with y'all. Thank you, Estrada. Hello. Let's see here. Thank you, Caesar. Hey, Don, I see you in the chat. Always good to have you tuning in from Prague. You're dedicated, because, like, isn't it like 3 a.m.? I've seen you say that before, that it's like 3 a.m. sometimes when you're tuning in for the premieres, and I really appreciate it, man. Like, I appreciate the dedication. I cannot make it to, like, 2, 3 a.m. anymore. I used to be able to do that. I can't do it anymore. It's just, I'm an old soul. I'm not even 30 yet, and I'm just like, midnight's about as late as I can go these days. Wyatt Earp from 1994. I haven't seen that, Nitty. I know about it. Is that the one where Kevin Costner plays Wyatt Earp? I have not seen that yet, but I would like to, because I'm a big fan of the Wyatt Earp, like, history. I love studying his biography and stuff. I love Tombstone. That's one of my favorite movies. I know it's not the most historically accurate, but I love it unashamedly. A YouTube plaque? I don't think so, Brian. I don't think you get a YouTube plaque until, I think that's 100K. I think you have to get to 100K to get one of those. And what does monitored mean? Do they start, like, monitoring you more hardcore at a certain level? Because that's terrifying. I already get plagued by the copyright bots enough as it is. Let's see here. 4 o'clock in Florida right now. I love Florida. Have family there on my mom's side. Always loved visiting Florida growing up. The Quiet Man. I am sorry to tell you, Glazed Ham, but I have already seen The Quiet Man. I actually watched that one just when me and my cousin were hanging out recently. I think that might have even been a few months ago now. We had a movie night and we watched The Quiet Man. So I'm sorry there was no reaction filmed to it, but it would have been quite entertaining because we really enjoyed that movie. Hello, Christopher. Hey, Nicholas. Where's everybody watching from? I know we've got Florida, we've got Prague. Oh, I see, Nitty. Yeah, usually people are kind of in one camp or the other as to whether they like Tombstone or the other White Earp movie better. It's probably, honestly, it's probably impossible for anything to usurp Tombstone for me because I don't know, it's such a special movie to me, and Val Kilmer as Doc Holliday is just perfection. Like, nothing can surpass that for me. He just makes that movie. He's such a scene stealer. So I know there's probably more accurate movies out there, but I love Tombstone. Arizona, North Carolina, Belgium. Awesome. Thank you, John. Estrada, you're in Illinois. People watching in the UK, Texas. We got Texas in the house. Sweden. Wow, that is so cool. That's so cool. Germany, Ireland. You guys, that is so cool. I love seeing where everybody's watching from. We've got so many different countries here in the house. Boston, Seattle, Maine, Kansas. I love it. Ohio. So cool. Thanks, guys, for letting me know where you're watching from. It never gets old for me. Just like, it's wild just to think about other people from other countries watching me too. It's just like, when I actually think about 25,000 people subscribing to my channel, it kind of blows my mind when you actually think about how many people that is. I think sometimes on social media we just see big numbers and we don't really think about how many people that is. Mind-blowing. So thank you guys for being here. So I was gonna tell you guys a little story. I was supposed to have a Film Friday today. I have the reaction all edited and ready to go. So what happened was I was actually contacted again by Angel Studios recently, and they wanted me to do another reaction and review for their new movie, which is called Cabrini. And so I was like, sure, awesome. And so I filmed it, recorded it and everything, and I was planning to release it today. And then once I sent it to Angel Studios for them to approve it and look it over and make sure there was nothing I needed to cut out, like spoilers or anything, they were like, we love it, but you need to hold off until at least March 7th to release the reaction because of the amount of movie that's shown. And so I was like, oh, okay, like that's fine, but darn, I was planning this for Friday and I thought that was cool, but it was obviously not cool. So that movie reaction has been postponed by a couple of weeks until Thursday, March 7th is when that one is going to drop. So that week is actually going to be a double header. We're going to have 2 movie reactions that week. There's going to be Cabrini on March 7th and then another movie reaction coming on Friday as usual because Cabrini actually releases in theaters March 8th. So my reaction will be coming out the day before, technically the day of it releases, because there's all those evening screenings now, like before the actual release date. The movies come out kind of the night before now. So let me catch up on the chat here. I'm behind. Hello everybody. Hey Sean. Hello everybody. Yes, Michael, you say you've heard about the Cabrini movie. Seriously guys, I loved it so much. Like, okay, I liked The Shift, which was the last Angel Studios movie that I reacted to on my channel. I liked that one a lot, but Cabrini was like on another level for me, honestly. I was watching that going like, this could win Oscars. The acting is amazing. The set design, like the costumes, everything is extremely immersive in that movie to the time period, which is kind of like 1889 to maybe 1910. Kind of right up my alley in terms of time period. But I was telling people, like, all of the shots in the movie are like a painting. which I appreciate as a painter. I was just geeking out the whole time over the composition of the shots and the lighting of the shots. It was like most of the movie looked like a Renaissance painting, and it was incredible. Not to mention just how powerful the story is. It's based on a true story. Cabrini was a real person. She was a nun who came over to the U.S. late 1800s from Italy, and she came to New York, and she was in the slums of New York, and she was advocating for impoverished children in the New York slums, especially Italians. Italians were very mistreated at that time here in America. And so she was establishing these orphanages and hospitals and all of that kind of stuff. It's an amazing story. I don't want to tell too much of it, but I had never heard of her. She's apparently like the patron saint of immigrants. She was made a saint later. I think it was like maybe 1940 something when they made her a saint. But it's an incredible story, and they did an amazing job with the movie. I loved the soundtrack, so I'm excited to share that reaction. It's a pretty emotional reaction. It kind of was quite a gut punch at some points in the story. So yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I can't wait to share that one with you guys on March 7th. How we doing here in the chat? Howdy, positively negative. Superman, Batman, Public Enemies. What is that? Is that an animated film? I've seen just about everything. Well, Superman, Batman related that's come out in the last 10 years or so. Like, I've seen all the Christopher Nolan Batman movies. I watched like Man of Steel, and I saw Batman versus Superman. We don't talk about that one. No. I don't want to throw shade in case someone here is a fan of that movie, but I was not. I was not a fan of that movie. I did not go see the Justice League. I skipped that one. I have not seen any of the old Batman movies. Like, I haven't seen all the, like, I don't know how many movies Michael Keaton did, but I haven't seen the Michael Keaton Batman movies. I haven't seen Val Kilmer or any of the older films. Like, Christian Bale's Batman movies were the first ones that I saw, because that was when I was, like, you know, teenager and stuff. So that was kind of my introduction to Batman. Superman, okay, so Superman, Batman, Public Enemies is an animated movie. Okay, because I know there's been some really good animated Batman films. That would be fun. I have not done animation on my channel, which is kind of wild because I love animation. I love it so much. Animated films, animated shows. So I need to do an animation poll sometime. Oh, hello. Someone from Scotland watching. I have not seen Quigley Down Under. I have not, but that one is on my list. I want to watch it. I really like Tom Selleck, and I really like Alan Rickman. So, and I like westerns. I know it's an Australian western, but it still counts. So, I'm looking forward to watching that one. Oh, yes, Adam, I did see the Batman with Robert Pattinson. I saw that one in the theater when it came out. I was not as much of a fan of that one as I was the Dark Knight trilogy. That one just has a special place in my heart. I know, like, going back and re-watching it, Christian Bale's Batman voice annoys me. Like, that was the worst thing about those movies. I wish they had found a better way to do that. That's like the annoying part when you go back and watch them, but other than that, those are my favorite. Heath Ledger as the Joker, I don't know if they can ever reach that level again. That was just iconic. Ben Affleck was good. He was a good Batman. Let's see, Breaking Away. I have not seen that. Y'all, my list of to watch, like my to watch list is getting so long. There's so many movies still that I have not seen and that I need to see. Nitty, I am not really an anime person. I love animation. Ooh, Bob, thank you so much. I just saw your super chat. Thank you so much. Little Big Man, yeah, that one's definitely on my list. I mean, most of the westerns are that I haven't gotten to yet. Definitely gonna watch that one. Oh, but what I was saying is, Nitty, I'm not into anime. I like animated films, but I'm not into anime. The closest thing to anime that I've ever watched was The Last Airbender. And I love that show. That's one of my favorite shows of all time. I know that's not technically anime, but it was kind of made in that style. I love The Last Airbender. Speaking of which, the live action edition of that just dropped on Netflix yesterday. Has anybody watched it yet? Are there any Avatar fans in the house? Because actually, like right before I just came down here, I was watching the first episode of The Last Airbender on Netflix because I was curious. I've been really skeptical. I was like, don't ruin it like you did with the 2010 live action movie. Was not good. And was not really true to the series, but I watched the first episode of the live action new Avatar on Netflix today, and I really liked it. It was much more true to the original series than the 2010 film. I feel like I'm only one episode in, there's 8 episodes, but I feel like they've kind of nailed the casting of the characters, and they're really just staying true to the spirit of the original series, which a lot of adaptations do not do, and I think it's a mistake. So, yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. It's not like it's top-notch, it's not like it's top-notch acting or anything so far, but it's solid. I love the bending, I love the fights, I love the costumes, the sets. It's pretty amazing how accurate they've been with a lot of it so far. Let's see. Shane, is someone's wanting me to watch Shane. I have already reacted to that on my channel, so if you go and check the Western playlist, the Western movies I've watched, Shane is on there. Michael, thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed the reaction to Roman Holiday. I liked that movie a lot. That was a really cute, like, I don't even want to call it a rom-com because of the ending, but that movie was a lot of fun. It was super cute, and the ending just really got me in the feels. I liked that one a lot. And I'm definitely wanting to watch The Big Country. I haven't gotten to it yet, with one movie a week, there's only so much time. But it's good. It's good that I get to space things out, and it takes me a while to get to everything, because we get to keep on going, right? Keep going indefinitely with all these great movies to watch. Full Metal Alchemist. No, I have not. I have not seen the animated series, and I have not seen the live action version either. Yeah, I'm gonna watch To Kill a Mockingbird. I haven't gotten to that yet, but it's on the list for sure. It's been so long that I think I read the whole thing. I think I read To Kill a Mockingbird like in high school or middle school. So my memories of it are very vague, but I did read it. It's just I don't remember that much of it. I remember the gist of it, but it's been a long time, so it's definitely fuzzy enough in my memory to where like I could react to it. Thank you so much for the super chat. Tick Liquor 11. Oh, you just started Gone Outlaw? Thank you so much. I'm glad you have enjoyed the first 3 chapters. Thank you. I hope you keep enjoying it. I keep hearing on a consistent basis from people who are just now reading Gone Outlaw, and I love that so many people are still reading it and discovering it for the first time. So cool. Please remember, if you have read it and you haven't left a review on Amazon, please remember to go and do that, or do it on GoodReads, either one. Because the more reviews your book has on Amazon, it really helps boost it in the algorithm, and it helps more people find it. So I think you can even just leave a star rating. Like, some people don't even write anything, they just leave a star rating, and that helps too. It still bumps up the review count on your book page. So if you've read it and you enjoyed it and you haven't done that yet, please do so. Broken Trail, yeah. Yeah, I still haven't seen that one, but it is on my list. Equilibrium with Christian Bale. What is that one? I don't even think I've heard of that one, so I don't even know what the what genre is it. I am a Christian Bale fan. There's a lot of his movies that I've really enjoyed. Hostiles. Have any of you guys seen Hostiles with Christian Bale and Rosamund Pike? Wes Studi. It's a Western. It's amazing. It's honestly my favorite Western. I love it. I first watched it probably 2 or 3 years ago. Maybe more, because I feel like it was before I started doing reactions. So probably three or 4 years ago. And I love that movie. It is incredible. It's not your typical Western, and it's very gritty and just emotionally raw, and it'll get you. It'll get you crying. It's so good. So good. It's all about the characters, and that's my favorite kind of story, is where it's very character-centric and about their internal journeys, and Hostiles is amazing for that. And it has an amazing soundtrack as well. And soundtracks are, as you know, quite important to me. Music is just something I love. I've always loved movie soundtracks, and that one has one of the best. Yes, Estrada, you know what's up. Hostiles was great. Yes. Kyle Reese, I've seen Tombstone. It's one of my all-time favorites. Every time it's on TV, I have to stop and watch at least part of it. It's like a rule. I can't turn the channel. Hello, Jim. Thank you so much for the congrats on the milestone. I will definitely be reacting to, I'll probably react to Quigley Down Under this year. I mean, I do a Western every month, so it will probably happen at some point this year. Shogun. I have seen the commercials for that. I've seen the ads for it, and it looks really good. It does. I have not been reacting to series on my channel just because I can only do one reaction per week. And so I haven't wanted to do series because it takes forever for me to get through them, and while I'm doing that I can't do movies. And so I like being able to switch it up and do a different movie every week. Because I was reacting to series on my channel. I was doing like Marvel series and The Mandalorian and stuff like that. But just doing one episode a week, it takes forever to get through it, and I can't, I just don't have it in my schedule to be able to do more than one reaction per week right now. So yeah, I'm probably not going to be doing any series anytime soon. I'm just sticking with movies, but I mean, maybe at some point. Yeah, I'll hold off on watching Shogun because that's something I could definitely react to at some point. It looks like it could be right up my alley, so. Oh, it's a remake of, so there was a series in the 1980s. That's interesting. Hello, Super Slav from Illinois, Minneapolis. Okay, so I was going to let you guys know my other announcement is what I'm going to be watching for for celebrating 25,000, I did a poll on my Patreon, and I was like, okay, so I gotta go big or go home for 25,000. I was like, what movies are we gonna do? So I put some heavy hitters on there. I put some classics on the poll, and the winner of that poll was Ben-Hur. I know there's a lot of you out there who have been wanting me to react to that, so it finally happened. I watched Ben-Hur from 1959, and so that is coming next Friday. Part 1, I should say. It is a very long movie, so I broke it up into 2 parts, which I've never done on my channel, but for copyright reasons, because I won't have to cut as much of the movie, and just, yeah, because of how long it is, I decided to split it up into 2 parts. So part 1 of my reaction to Ben-Hur is coming next Friday, and then part 2 of Ben-Hur will be coming the next Friday. So it'll be a double feature of Ben-Hur. Hello, Daniel. Yes, he's working on it. He is now working on the Ben-Hur reaction, so that is coming. Everybody say thank you to Daniel. He always does a great job editing the reactions. Daniel has saved me hours and hours and hours because I was editing all of my reactions myself for years, and it's a lot. For those who don't know, editing reactions is a ton of work, and having to record all my videos and then go and edit them was just too much because I basically have 3 jobs. I'm an artist, I'm an author, and I'm a YouTuber, so I just did not, it was taking too much of a toll on my main 2 jobs, trying to edit all of my videos myself. So everybody say thank you to Daniel for taking a lot of stress out of my life. Yes. Yes, that is editor Daniel. Yes, everyone is thanking Daniel, as they should. Cleopatra. Yeah, with Elizabeth Taylor. I have not seen that, but that is very much on my radar. It is on my list because that's another big, like, epic movie that I have not seen. I love the big epic movies. You know, they're usually worth the time that it takes to get through them. I'm trying to think of like the longest movies I've watched on my channel. Probably The Godfather and Dances with Wolves. I can't remember which one of those is longer, but those are probably the 2 longest videos I've watched, longest movies I've watched on my channel. I love how YouTube holds messages for review sometimes, and they just, Don, your message was in YouTube jail. I just let it through because I know you're kidding. Oh my goodness. You know, I probably shouldn't say it because I'm gonna stick my foot in my mouth, but you guys are great, and I like very rarely have trolls even show up in the chat, which is pretty amazing. Yeah, you guys are great. You guys make it very easy on me. I don't even have a chat moderator. I probably should get one at some point, but I just kind of moderate my own chat, so thank you guys for being so great and polite. Daniel has the report for me. He says Dances with Wolves is 10 minutes longer than The Godfather, so Dances with Wolves is probably the longest movie I've watched on my channel. I don't remember, I don't know if there's been another 3+ hour movie that I've watched other than Gladiator. Gladiator was the first movie I watched ever on my channel, and I cannot remember how long that one was, but gosh, what a movie. I've been thinking about that one again recently. Like, I need to revisit that one and watch that one again, because it's been like 3 years and I loved it. That was quite a one to start with. Yeah. Yeah, Ben Hur dwarfs both in runtime. I'm getting behind on the chat here. Oh, Dawn, you're a professional moderator. 25 YouTube channels. That is awesome. Okay, so if I ever need a moderator, I know who to call. Who you gonna call? Don Baca. People talking about Stagecoach. Oh, okay, someone says Gladiator was under 3 hours. My bad. It was long though. I think it's well over 2.5 hours. I have not seen Stagecoach, but it is on my Western list for sure. No, Nitty, I do not want trolls. I am very glad not to have very many trolls. There's always some trolls in the comments on videos, but luckily not really many in the chat. Yeah, I have heard that there's a sequel to Gladiator coming. Live stream collaborations. Do people do those? Just like collaborative live hangouts? I know Popcorn in Bed, and I know, well, I don't know her. I know of her. I know of Critical Drinker, but I'm not as familiar with him and his content, but I know I've heard of him, like, on Twitter and stuff. Does he do reactions? I thought he did, like, coverage of, like, news coverage, like, of pop culture and stuff. Maybe he does do reactions. I don't know. Bye, Daniel. Glad you could stop in for a little bit and hang out. Yeah, he's hard at work, everyone. Getting Ben-Hur ready for all of you to enjoy. I have not reacted to 300, Adam, because I saw it before I started doing reactions. Unfortunately, I always hate it when that happens. It's like I just barely watched a movie before I started doing reactions, and it's like, darn, that would have been a good reaction, but oh well. Tarantino. As far as I know, I don't think I've really seen Quentin Tarantino's movies. I'm familiar with him and his style per se, but I don't think, trying to remember, I don't think I've seen any of his films, but I do want to get to them because I know he's done at least 2 Westerns. I don't remember how many he's done, but I have not seen like Django Unchained or what was the other one? The Hateful Eight, like that kind of stuff. I've seen the trailers, heard about them and stuff in the past, but I haven't gotten around to watching them, so I would like to check that out at some point. Critical Drinker doesn't do reactions, he comments on stuff afterwards. Okay. So he does like reviews more than reactions. Reviews and commentary. Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. Dawn Marie. Yeah, I have heard of her. I have. I could do a discussion about movies with the Draker. Yeah, that'd be cool. I mean, I am always happy to talk about movies with people because I never get tired of talking about movies, so I just don't, I used to have a podcast, but I don't really do that anymore. I do the occasional Patreon, like, podcast, but I used to have a Star Wars podcast, Madison Trivia. I used to have a Star Wars podcast that I did for, like, maybe 2 years. I think it was about 2 years. And then I stopped doing that and transitioned into reactions. So I have been in the podcasting world before. It was a lot of fun. Trying to catch up on the chat here. Oh, thank you, Brian, for the congratulations. Oh, Critical Drinker is also a published author. That's cool. So we got we got a couple things in common. We're both movie reviewers and published authors. Let's see. I just saw something and I missed it. Oh, there it is, from Brian. Yeah, I've seen the Coen Brothers version of True Grit. I have not seen the John Wayne version of True Grit. So I am definitely planning to react to that at some point on my channel, the John Wayne version of True Grit, because I've seen the Coen Brothers version a couple times, and I really enjoy it. And I know it's based on the novel. And I'm very curious to see like how the John Wayne version is different and similar. I just love seeing different takes on things. So definitely planning to react to that one on my channel at some point. Nitty, Star Wars trivia. No, I didn't do Star Wars trivia. I did a Star Wars podcast. I had one for a couple years. Oh, a trivia game. That'd be cool. I'd have to have someone set up the questions for me though. It'd be fun to do like a trivia on my own channel, even like trivia questions about the movies that I've watched, like not about one particular genre or anything, but just like trivia questions about all of the movies I've watched over the past several years and see like how much I remember. That would be fun. That would be entertaining. Because I'm pretty good at remembering things and remembering stories, characters, but like now I'm over 100 movies in. I think I'm at like 110 movies, so that's a lot, and you're inevitably gonna forget things when you start watching that many movies and you do it over many years. So that would be fun, like playing a movie trivia game, and maybe like you guys come up with the questions. I should do that. Nitty, I would be happy for you to help set up some trivia questions for me. Now, Star Wars, I mean, I could do that, but I haven't reacted. I've reacted to The Mandalorian on my channel, but I haven't reacted to the Star Wars movies because that wouldn't be very honest of me. I've seen all of them hundreds of times, so. Oh, goodness. That would be one of those, like, fake first-time reactions. Darth Vader is Luke's father? What? No way. There's a sequel to True Grit? I did not know this. Is that also based on a novel, or did they just, like, make up a sequel, like, in movie form later? Sharknado 3. I haven't even seen Sharknado, like the first one, so I definitely can't watch the third one yet. Let's see. Uh, Phil, I'm so sorry I spoiled it for you. Star Wars Andor. I have not seen Andor. I am quite behind on the Star Wars shows now. I have not seen. I feel like I'm like 2 or 3 shows behind now. A series that I am wanting to watch very soon is Echo, the Marvel series, because Daredevil is my favorite show of all time, the Netflix series, and seeing that cast is being brought back and brought into the Marvel Cinematic Universe is very exciting for me. The fact that they're not recasting those characters. So Echo is a series that I've been wanting to watch. I also really enjoyed Echo as a character in the Hawkeye series. So I'm excited to see more of her. I've heard good things about that series. Have any of you watched it yet? I don't know if we've got any Marvel fans here. Let's see. Trying to catch up on the chat here. Tom, you want horse videos? Well, I post a lot of horse content on my Instagram, so there's lots of videos over there. You probably have to scroll back a ways. Long story. Long story for those of you who have not been following me for a while. I had not ridden in about 5 months because I broke my toe getting bucked off and back in September, and then I sold that horse that bucked me off, and so then I was without a horse to ride because I still have my old man named Champion. He's in just a few days he's about to turn 29 years old, which in human years is about 83. So he's been retired for 2 or 3 years now, so I can't ride him anymore. And so ever since I retired Champion, I've been trying to find a new trail riding partner, and y'all, I've gone through 3 horses now and have yet to find the right one. Something has happened with all of the other horses. One it turned out was just an old soul, and he was too slow. It's not that I'm wanting to go out and race or anything. It's just like he walks slower than the average human walks. It was just too much. So I had to sell him, unfortunately. But the other one, I had one named Scout for about a year. And 2023 was rough. It was a rough year in terms of horse incidents. In March, I was riding Scout, and we were galloping full speed, and my very old saddle that I should have replaced, the cinch got loose on it, and I went sideways off the horse at a full gallop, and it took me months to recover from that. My back, my neck, my elbow was all screwed up after that, and so that happened, and I sold him because he was the opposite of my other one that was slow and lazy. He was wanting to run full speed all the time, which was also not what I wanted, so had to sell him. And then I got the third one, which is the one that bucked me off back in September. And so, yeah, breaking my big toe is the first broken bone I've ever had. I made it so long, guys. I made it so long. And then, yeah, it's amazing, though. With what happened, I was very grateful to only have broken my big toe. It could have been a lot worse, so I was grateful. But it took a while to rehab that toe and be able to walk, run on it again, and all of that. So there's a very nice girl out at the place where I am who her horse is in the same pasture as Champion, and she's being very kind and letting me ride him until I can find another horse. And we go for round 4. Try to catch up with the chat for a second here. Oh, Don, you can never go wrong with going back and watching The Black Stallion. I have not watched that in years, and that is a movie that, like, if you wanted to define my childhood, that movie would have to be there, like in the top 5, because I watched that movie hundreds and hundreds of times, never got tired of it. I read most of the Black Stallion books by Walter Farley. I was full-on horse girl growing up, so I was reading all of the Black Stallion books before I could even read them myself. My mom was reading them to me. So I was reading all of those. I was super into the Thoroughbred series. Full-on horse girl. I was watching the Saddle Club, which, if you don't know, that's an Australian series. I think it only ran for a couple of seasons, but I was obsessed with the Saddle Club. And then when I got older, I started watching Heartland, which is a Canadian series that has been, I think it's on season 18 or 19 now. It's been going for so long, but it is such a good show. And I think I got through season 13, and so I'm kind of behind. But Heartland is a fantastic show. So good. The number of times I've cried watching that show, oh my goodness. Oh no need to apologize, Tom, about the horse question. I'm just a firm believer in being honest about what's going on. in your life and not trying to sugarcoat anything. So yeah, 2023, there were some highs, but there were mostly lows when it comes to my horse riding life. But that's okay. It happens. And I am a firm believer that everything happens for a reason, and the right horse is out there. I just got to find them. I was actually having a conversation with my vet several months ago, my equine vet, and he does such a great job. But he was telling me, I mean, you can't be more of a horse expert than this guy is. He's just the best. And he was saying that when his longtime horse, he had to retire him and he was looking for a new horse, he said he had to go through 9 horses before he finally found the right one for him. And I mean, he knows horses like the back of his hand, and it was so reassuring to hear that from him, that he had to go through 9 horses before he found the right one. But it was also like, I hope I don't have to go through 9 horses to find the right one. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, guys, that number 4 will be it. Let's see. Did you ride in horse shows growing up? No. So, okay, my horse story is I started riding when I was 6 years old, and I started riding English first. I did that for like maybe 3 years. I rode English, and so that was basically like dressage training. That was what I was practicing to become, you know. I was 6 though, 6, 7, 8. So it was very much learning the basics, but that's what you're, you know, kind of angling towards when you start English. Did like horse camp and everything, and we would do some little performances, but that was not for me. I was a cowgirl. I was a cowgirl at heart. I did not like the prim and proper. That wasn't for me. So I switched to riding Western when I was probably like 9, and never looked back. I loved it. That was much more my vibe, what I was wanting to do. And I did 1 or 2 rodeos when I was really young. Like I did the barrel racing, and I loved it. But at some point I had to kind of decide, like, am I gonna do horses professionally? Like, do I want to pursue that, like do rodeos and stuff? Or do I want to become an artist? That was kind of the choice that was presented to me. And so I chose to pursue the art path. And so that was what I did. I decided that horse riding was not going to be my profession. It was just going to be my hobby, basically, like something that I love to do and do in my spare time, just to relax and chill and kind of get away from everything else. So I think that worked out. You can only have so many careers. And now I'm an artist and an author and a YouTuber, so it's a lot. I can't imagine also doing like rodeoing at the same time. So I wouldn't even call it my guilty pleasure. I unashamedly watch rodeo all the time, like living vicariously through them, because I can't actually participate in the rodeos myself. So I just watch rodeo all the time. All the time. I love it. Hello, James. I feel like I'm so behind on the chat. Oh, thank you, Mark. Yeah, it is not easy. It's not easy getting into art. People tell you, if you're gonna become an artist, I feel like anyone who wants to become an actor also hears this. They're like, but how are you gonna make any money? How are you gonna make it? Like, they try to just completely... I'm not talking about my family. My family has always been very supportive of me, but it's just people in general are kind of skeptical when you tell them you want to be an artist, and it's like, are you though? Are you though? They kind of... It's much more culturally acceptable a lot of times to become like a doctor or a nurse or an engineer or an accountant. I mean, most things it's more acceptable, and people will go along with that more than becoming an artist because they think you're going to be the starving artist. And yeah, there it is in the chat, starving artist. But it has been very hard. It's extremely hard because you don't just have a set paycheck, not to get all technical and TMI with you guys, but I mean, you don't have a set paycheck of like, I'm getting paid every month just for showing up and doing my job each day. It's not like that. I'm self-employed, so if I don't go out and get it, if I don't find clients, if I don't get a following on social media, you know, you're not gonna make any money because no one knows you exist. Basically, you have to get out there and work your business. You have to build a platform for clients to come to you for commissions, or if you're selling prints online, you really gotta, it's hard. It's a hard job, but if you love it, which I do, then it's worth it. It's worth it to get to do what you love to do. James says, what kind of art? Well, I do oil paintings, I do drawings, so like pencil, charcoal, and I do digital art as well, which is like, I have a tablet, I use Photoshop on the computer, and I have a tablet, and I draw on the tablet, and it appears on the screen. So that's what I do when I'm like designing prints. If you look at my website, it's madisonkthames.com. I've got all my prints on there. You can check those out. And I've got all my originals on there, like drawings, paintings. If you're asking what I draw, it's mostly people and like Western stuff. I love, I've really gotten into doing rodeo art. I love just Western art from movies, like drawing characters. I've done a lot of Star Wars and Marvel art, so like lots of fantasy, sci-fi, and then Western. Kind of a little bit of everything, but my big passion is really like Western art, horses, cowboys. I love people is my that's my number one passion, doing portraits and stuff, and horses. I grew up my whole life drawing horses all the time. I told you guys, horse girl, so. Oh, let's see, I'm getting behind again. Starving reactor. Oh, that's funny. Oils are hard. Yes and no. I love doing oil paint because acrylic kind of stresses me out a little. I used to do nothing but acrylic, but I love oils more, and I don't paint in acrylic anymore because oils are forgiving. If you mess up, it's still wet, so you can kind of go back in and fix it. Acrylic dries so fast that I have more trouble blending it. I know you can do mediums and stuff to make it more like wet, like stay wet longer and blend. But I like how oils, it takes them a day or two to kind of start drying, so you have all that time to just blend them, smooth things out before it just starts drying on you. Like with acrylic, I feel pressure. So anyway, I'm biased towards oils. And I know there's watercolor people out there, which is an art in and of itself. I've never really tried watercolor. I feel like that would also kind of stress me out a little because you can't just keep layering and keep layering. It's kind of like one and done. Because the whole look of it is like keeping it transparent, so. Would you put your art in your books? No, I'm not wanting my books to have pictures in them, but like with Gone Outlaw, I did the book cover art, so I did this and the back cover art too. I do all of my art for my books, just not any art inside the book. But like again on my Instagram and stuff, you can see I did like character posters for Gone Outlaw, like drawing and illustrating the characters, and I also do trailers for my books, so I do all of the artwork for that. And yes, I said books plural because book 2 is coming this year. It's going to be fall of this year, so I am currently working on the trailer art for that. Super exciting. Yes, exactly what Jeff said. Acrylic dries fast, so you don't have much time to fix mistakes. Watercolor, very unforgiving because it's transparent. Yes, exactly. Hello, John. Glad you could make it. Nitty, I have not been contacted by any tattoo parlors. I have not. Oh, and yay, Daniel, glad to hear that you're getting it past copyright. Thank you, John, on the congrats. Yes, Howard, it is very expensive to get art done for your books, so I'm very blessed. Very, very glad that I am also an artist, so I was able to do my own artwork, because if I had to hire an artist to do that, very expensive. The Gone Outlaw thematically sounds like the Western version of Breaking Bad. Well, I would not know because I haven't seen Breaking Bad. I know, there's probably people screaming at the screen right now. You've never seen Breaking Bad? But no, I have not. Not even one episode. William, yes, the book is a sequel. Yeah, the series is called Sunset Legends, and I don't know exactly how many books I'm going to do in the series, but it's going to be several, and they're all connected. They're all intertwined with like different characters carrying over and stuff like that. So, yeah, book 2 is very much the next chapter in the story. It's very much connected and intertwined with Gone Outlaw, but it's also different. It's both a sequel and it's also going in new directions. Thank you, Adam, for the well wishes. Oh, no, Nitty. That's not kind of my area of expertise. I kind of just like doing drawings and paintings, so no, I haven't done that. Some people have gotten tattoos of my artwork, though. Like, that was pretty wild. I've been contacted a couple of times by people who like literally got someone to do a tattoo of my artwork like on their arm or their leg or whatever, and I'm like, whoa, that is wild. Like, they're gonna have my artwork on their body forever. That was pretty crazy the first time that happened. Let's see, how long did it take between the inception of the idea and completing the book? Not publishing, just completing the writing. Um, so I got the idea for Gone Outlaw in like November, December of 2018, and I published it July 2023, but it was finished by like January, so let's see. It was basically 4 years, I guess. 4.5 years. Roughly. I'd say 4 years. 4 years from like idea to finishing writing it. Because it took me many, many months before I even started writing it to research sufficiently, because I wanted to make it as accurate and true to life as possible. I didn't want to write just a popcorn western with no like, I wanted it to be true to life and not glamorize it too much. I'm always a fan of a little romance, you know, romanticizing the West. It's inevitable. It's kind of the American mythology. But with that, a healthy dose of reality. And so I did months and months of research on locations, like the culture of the time. I read several books researching. I did countless hours of research on the internet. I mean, hardcore. And then alongside that, I was planning the story, figuring out the characters and their whole, you know, how their mind works, their backstory. All of that took months before I ever started writing. So that's a big part of it for me, is the research and the figuring out my characters, and then I start plotting the story. And so I guess the short answer is about 4 years. Book 2 has been a lot quicker. It's going to be more like 2.5 years maybe, so I have cut down on that time. David loved Gone Outlaw. Awesome. Large print edition. Yeah, I could do that. Oh well, action cover would be cool, but I kind of like I like the classic movie poster kind of look for the covers. It's kind of funny because Gone Outlaw and Sunset Legends as a series, it's kind of a weird blend because it's a romance, but it's also not just romance. It's also very action-packed. So, you know, people say, like, don't tell people your book is for everyone, but I'm like, what if it's true? I know it's not for everyone, but it is for both for men and for women. And, I mean, it is because the romance is such a huge part of it, and it's going to be in every book. But there's also, like, so much of just what men love in Westerns. The shoot 'em up, you know, like gunfights and the horseback riding and the relationships between male characters like fathers and sons and brothers and all, like, the kind of stuff that men love to see in Westerns. There's stuff for men and for women. So it's been a journey kind of figuring out, like, even how do I market it, because it's not just for men and it's not just for women. Because if you look at, like, a lot of Western romance on Amazon, it's very romancy, and you can just tell, like, I don't want to throw shade. I don't want to throw shade. But so many of the covers are, like, these guys with open shirts and, like, six-pack abs. Like, that's the majority of the, like, Western romance novels you see on Amazon, and I cringe every time I see that. So I feel like in terms of romance covers, mine is like a breath of fresh air because everyone is fully clothed. We don't have this, like, modern looking cowboy that's supposed to be in the 1800s with, like, six-pack abs. I mean, come on. I'm sorry. I said I wasn't gonna throw shade, but I cringe every time I see it, and it just kind of takes me out of it. Like, I would never pick one of those up and read it because it's like, this guy is supposed to be in 1860, 1880, and he looks like he's from 2020. Like, I don't know. I can't take it seriously. Right, Don, gunfighters and cowboys never look like Fabio. Exactly. Joel, you're halfway in. Excited to hear that. Yeah, I mean, there's romance, but also it's not a Hallmark movie, okay? Like, if you're reading one of my books, don't be afraid that you have picked up a Hallmark novel. It's not like that. I'm not a Hallmark fan. I'm not a fan of that kind of stuff. So I love romance, but, like, I love classic romances like Pride and Prejudice and Jane Eyre and Wuthering Heights. I love big, epic romances, like go big or go home. I'm not... I love romance, but I'm not into poorly written or kind of cliche, like shallow romance. That's not for me. Yes, exactly, Nitty. No Fabio cover. No Fabio covers here. Yes, exactly. No, it's not Harlequin romance. That's not my jam. Let's see. Have you played Red Dead Redemption 2? Yes. About 5 times all the way through. That was what sparked the idea for Gone Outlaw. I've talked about it before. I played Red Dead Redemption 2 in October, November of 2018, so you see the correlation there of when I got the idea for Gone Outlaw. Yeah. I was not even going to play Red Dead Redemption 2 because I had never played the first one. And my brother told me it was coming out, and he was like, "You've got to watch the trailer for this. It's going to be amazing." He had already played the first one. And so I was like, okay, I watched the trailer, and I'm like, that looks cool, and I get the game when it comes out, and then I'm like, a few hours into the game, I was like, oh boy, oh no, I'm going to be obsessed, and yeah. One of the best stories I've ever experienced, period. Like, whether you're talking about movies, books, video games, Red Dead Redemption, like, I hate comparing things because it's all like personal opinion, and yeah, Red Dead Redemption honestly is my favorite Western of all time. Like, I would put it above every Western movie I've ever seen. Red Dead Redemption 2 is my favorite Western of all time. It's just incredible. I mean, it's hard to compare though because movies are 2 hours and Red Dead Redemption takes you like, I don't know, 50, 60 hours at least to get through it. It's like a 60-hour movie. And so how can a 2-hour movie compete with that? And there's also the aspect of, like, with a video game, you are experiencing it in a different way because you have the controller in your hand, you're guiding the character, you're making choices, you're making decisions. You almost live with those characters in a different way than like just watching a movie, because like you ride back to camp every night and you interact with those characters on a very personal level. You feel like you get to know them. It was just such an immersive, amazing experience, and that was really, like, I've always liked Westerns, but that was where I went like next level, just being super, super passionate about Westerns, and from there I started going back and watching like all the like classic movies and just wanting to write Westerns. Because at that point, like when I played Red Dead Redemption 2, I had not seen any of the Clint Eastwood Westerns or like John Wayne or any of that. And it was after that, like when I started researching for Gone Outlaw and everything, I started watching all the Clint Eastwood Westerns, which is why I can't react to any of them on my channel because I've already seen them. That was kind of the time period when I started watching like the Dollars trilogy and Once Upon a Time in the West and like Outlaw Josie Wales. I watched The Searchers, all that kind of stuff. So anyway, long story. That is a very long answer to the Red Dead Redemption question, but all that to say, I'm a big fan. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I knew that would rub some people the wrong way. You can't compare. It's like comparing art forms, which I don't like to do. I'm just saying that for me personally, Red Dead Redemption 2 is my favorite Western story of all time. And everyone's opinion is going to be different. Sorry guys, I'm trying to catch up on the chat here. There's a lot, and I'm so behind. Oh yeah, Nitty's talking about the Star Wars expanded universe. That was crazy. I read so many of those books, and the universe was so big. It was so much more than the movies. It made the universe so much bigger. I read a lot of those. Definitely not all of them because there were so many that I could not possibly keep up with it. But I was super into it, and I remember getting very upset when certain characters died later on. Like, I followed it to the end. I read the very last, well, I think they always kept making them, but like the last Legacy of the Force novel, Invincible, where things kind of came to a head. I still remember reading that. That was pretty crazy. Hey Steven, glad you could make it. Thanks for the congrats on the milestone. No, Howard, I have not seen the old Western TV shows. Those were kind of before my time, and I like when I was growing up, they were not on in the house, so I never saw them. Yeah, I mean, I guess I was kind of a latecomer to finding westerns, which is funny because it's one of those things where like I'm wondering like why did I not find it sooner, because I grew up riding horses, and I did like a couple rodeos, and that I was just so into that world, and I loved watching all the horse movies growing up, but I just never. I guess it's because it's not something my family was into. Like they weren't watching westerns, so I never did until, I mean, thanks to Red Dead Redemption 2 for just getting me so into westerns, I had to watch them, and made me want to write those novels. So that was when I started watching all the movies, and then there was no going back after that. I loved the movies; they're fantastic. Let's see. I have not reacted to High Plains Drifter. I have not seen that one. I think I've seen I think I've seen every Clint Eastwood Western except for that one. Actually, I think there's one more called like Paint Your Wagon or something that's kind of a musical. I haven't seen that one either. But like all of the ones that come to your mind when you think of Clint Eastwood, like the Fistful of Dollars, those three movies, and then Outlaw Josie Wales, and Hang 'em High, uh, Pale Rider. I've seen all of those, and there was not a one of them that I didn't like. I love the Clint Eastwood westerns. The Searchers is the only John Wayne movie I watched before I started doing reactions. So that is the only one, that was the only one I had seen before I started my channel. So many more of those for me to react to on the channel than the Clint Eastwood westerns. Any Which Way But Loose. I don't know that one. Heartbreak Ridge. Are those both Clint Eastwood westerns? I have not seen those. I agree. Clint Eastwood is the best. I mean, he's just a legend. I love that scene in A Fistful of Dollars with him and his mule. That's just when he's talking to those guys about my mule, and he just is standing there with the cigarette, you know, and he just takes out those four guys like a classic. Can't even remember the dialogue now. I need to watch that scene again, but it was so great. Yes, Mark, I did watch Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. It's on my Western playlist, so if you go to my channel and look at my Western movie playlist, it is on there. You can find all of the Westerns I've ever reacted to on my channel. I think it's maybe like 20 of them now. I'd have to go and count, but let's see. Oh my gosh, Brian. Yeah, the end of The Searchers, that got me right in the feels. It was great. Oh yeah, Mark, I'd forgotten about that one. Yeah, Two Mules for Sister Sarah. I have not seen that one, so that is another Clint Eastwood Western I haven't seen. And I have not seen The Proposition either. But music by Nick Cave, you have my attention because he does amazing Western soundtracks, because I believe that's who did the soundtrack for oh, what's it called? Hell or High Water and The Assassination of Jesse James. Those are two of my favorite soundtracks. They're so good. They're so like moody and dark. It's great. Those are two of my favorite soundtracks to write to. Okay, Nitty, those aren't westerns, but they're Clint Eastwood movies. Gotcha. Okay, I need to remember those two. Any Which Way But Loose and Heartbreak Ridge. I'll try to remember that. Oh my gosh, I forgot to mention Unforgiven. Yeah, I just watched that one again like a month ago because that movie's incredible. It's so sad, but it's incredible. Oh wow, The Proposition was written by Nick Cave and he did the score. I didn't know he wrote like screenplays too. That's amazing. Nitty, I have not listened to the soundtrack from Black Hawk Down. I haven't even seen that movie yet, so maybe a reaction is in order? Calamity Jane, yeah, I haven't seen that either. Oh my goodness, guys, I just looked at the clock. I was like, how long have I been streaming? And I just realized it's almost been an hour and a half. Oh my goodness. See, this is what happens when I get on a roll. I start talking about movies and westerns and horses, and then here we are. Like, it could be like that meme where it says 2 hours later. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna get to a few more questions before I wrap up here. Any Henry Fonda on the channel? One Henry Fonda movie so far. I reacted to 12 Angry Men, not a Western, but that's the only Henry Fonda movie I've done so far. I'm planning to do many more because I like him. Keep it going. Thank you, Steve. I've not seen One-Eyed Jacks. Free on YouTube, that's a plus. Well, thank you, Marvin. I'm glad you find it interesting. I feel like I just go off on all these rabbit trails and ramble on, and I don't want to bore people, but you know. Black Hawk. Okay. Yeah, Black Hawk Down needs to be on my list because I've heard a lot of good things about that one. Peter, I've seen Once Upon a Time in the West. I saw it before I started doing movie reactions, so I did see Henry Fonda in that, and he was incredible as the villain in that movie. Really good. I've seen Magnificent Seven. I saw the remake in theaters first, and then I reacted to the original on my channel a while back. I think that was maybe a few months ago now. What year was that? It was like 19 like 62 or something? I can't remember. I reacted to that one here on my channel. I agree, Brian. My channel needs more Jack Nicholson. There's not enough Jack Nicholson. I think The Shining is the only Jack Nicholson movie I've done on my channel, which is kind of crazy. I don't know how that happened, but I agree. I need more Jack Nicholson on the channel. Thank you, Peterson. Oh, Adam's got it. He's got the dialogue. It's not nice you laugh. Yep, that was it. Gets the crazy idea that you're laughing at him. I love that scene so much. Oh, that's right. I just forgot. That just reminded me. I did watch 2 Jack Nicholson movies. I forgot I had done A Few Good Men. That's another one I've done. How did Western film narrative structure help you with writing a Western? it helped me a lot. The way I write is very cinematic because I love books. I've always loved reading, but I've also always loved movies, and that's kind of the way I write is I picture everything in my head like a movie, and I almost feel like the way that I write is more influenced by movies than books, which sounds weird to say, but I just kind of feel like that's my style because I'm such a big fan of movies and screenplay structure, like the 3-act structure, and I know that that also applies to books as well. But yeah, story structure kind of crosses over between books and movies. But yeah, I'm a big fan of the 3-act story structure and kind of a mix of different strategies, if you want to call them that. Like, there's 3-act story structure, there's the hero's journey, all of that kind of stuff, which I blend into my own kind of hybrid structure. But it's mainly the 3-act structure, and then I kind of mingle, like I kind of sprinkle in some hero's journey and other stuff in there. There's another guy, I'm trying to think of his name. Is it Michael Haig? I really like his way of looking at story structure, and I kind of sprinkle in some of his stuff. Sorry, I'm getting really nerdy. If Gone Outlaw were turned into a movie, who would star? I don't know, Phil, because honestly, a lot of the characters are so young. Like, Dinah and Joseph are both in their 20s. A lot of the characters are in their 20s. I feel like a lot of those actors might be unknown right now, and it probably could be someone that just comes onto the scene later. And maybe, like, getting cast as Dinah or Joseph is their breakout role, and before that they were unknown, you know? So, I have no idea. I have no idea. Nitty, yes. Is being a nerd cool now? I hope so, because I am one. Nerd/geek. I never know which term to use. Am I a nerd, geek? I guess both. Oh my goodness. Hermitage Prepper, thank you so much for the super chat. Well, I would hate to steal your idea. If you have a story idea, I would recommend you turning it into an awesome story because, I mean, Braveheart meets Last of the Mohicans, that meets Pearl Harbor sounds pretty cool. I feel like there's a lot of potential there, but honestly, I am so busy with my own story ideas, like continuing Sunset Legends, that I could not possibly take on another story idea right now, but that sounds like it could be really, really cool. So I think you should turn that into a story. And let me know when you've written it, because that sounds awesome. James, thank you for the congrats on 25K. Still can't believe it, 25K. Thank you guys so much. One more question. Someone send in one more really good question, and then I need to start wrapping up here because I have talked long enough. My voice is starting to go out. I'm not used to talking this long. Revenge of the Nerds, starring Robert Carradine. Is it Carradine or Carradine? I have not seen that. I've heard of it, but haven't seen it. All right. These are two very important questions. Chocolate milk or soda with pizza? I'm boring, Nitty. I mostly just drink water. I know, that's not the answer you were wanting. I do love milk, but I normally just do milk and not chocolate milk. And I only like milk for like breakfast and dessert. I wouldn't do it with dinner. Or definitely not with pizza. But yeah, I'm boring. Usually just water. I do love sweet tea though. If you're in the South, I mean, sweet tea is kind of required. Uh, lemonade is awesome. What's for dinner though? You know what? I don't know. I haven't even decided yet, so I can't answer that because I don't know. I said I was only going to do one more question, but there's some coming in here. Do you have a favorite film? Oh gosh. Let's end with that one because it's related to movie reactions. You know, it's kind of on topic. But it's also like an impossible question. You know what? Okay. You know, sometimes when your favorite movies are always changing. It's kind of like, what mood am I in? Like, what have I watched recently? But there's one movie, really a trilogy of movies that consistently stays in my #1 spot, and I don't think anything will ever dethrone it. And my favorite movie of all time is Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring. Favorite movie, followed closely by Return of the King and The Two Towers. The Lord of the Rings trilogy is my favorite thing ever. Favorite movies. Seen them hundreds of times. They never get old. I've only read Lord of the Rings once. Once and a half, basically. I started a second read and never made it to the end. I read it like halfway through again, but I'm gonna do it at some point. It's just quite an endeavor, as you probably know. Reading Lord of the Rings, it's quite long. But yeah, that's my favorite movie of all time. Fellowship of the Ring. Oh no, Nitty has asked a question I can't skip. What favorite Star Wars character from movies or EU? This is probably not going to be a popular answer, but Ben Solo / Kylo Ren is my favorite Star Wars character. And no, I do not like how the sequels ended. Don't even talk to me about The Rise of Skywalker. I loved The Force Awakens and I loved The Last Jedi. And then it all went downhill from there. So, yeah, but the short answer is Ben Solo is my favorite. And then I have several other favorites as well, but I think he's my favorite, so I'm going with that. Alright guys, that is the last question. Thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out with me. I'm sorry that I rambled on for so long. I hope at least some of it was interesting and not all of it offensive. I know that when you get into like favorites on anything or ranking things or what do you like the most, people get touchy. They get testy very easily when you start picking favorites and ranking things that they're very passionate about. So I hope I didn't offend too many people today with my answers. But yeah, thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out for my 25K celebration. Can't wait to see you guys all next Friday for part 1 of Ben-Hur. It's going to be so much fun. It's a good reaction. It's a good one, guys. So I hope you'll come and hang out, and I will see you guys then. And now I got to figure out how to turn this thing off because I don't know. Thanks, guys, for coming and hanging out, and I will see you guys next Friday. Bye.